Hello everyone, and welcome back. Today, we're going to talk about something that sounds simple, but is often one of the most misunderstood parts of genealogy research: death records. Now, most genealogists believe they've done death records once they've found a death certificate or a burial date. But that assumption can quietly limit your research. Because the reality is, some of the most valuable death-related evidence is not found in standard death certificates. And if you're only searching the obvious places, you are almost certainly missing critical clues about your ancestors. In this video, I'm going to walk you through lesser-known death records that many researchers overlook, explain why they matter, and show you how to actually use them in your research workflow. And importantly, I'm not just listing records. I'll show you how these records solve real genealogical problems like identity confusion, missing parents, and incorrect family links. Let's get into it. Before we jump into overlooked records, we need to address a common mistake. Many genealogists treat death certificates as final proof. They're not. They're secondary information, often reported by someone who may not have known the deceased well. So if you're relying only on that document, you're working with a single, potentially flawed source. This is exactly why overlooked records matter. They help you corroborate, challenge, or correct that information. Let's start with something familiar: obituaries. But here's the problem. Most researchers only look for formal newspaper obituaries. That's a mistake. You should also be searching for funeral notices, death announcements, memorial mentions published weeks or months later, anniversary remembrance notices. These often contain details that the original obituary did not include, especially extended family members or migration clues. And here's something many researchers overlook. Smaller local newspapers, especially rural ones, often include more detailed family connections than major city papers. So if you're only searching big-name newspapers, you're missing context. If you're not consistently checking probate records, you're leaving evidence behind. Probate files can include wills, estate inventories, lists of heirs, guardianship records for minor children. And here's where it becomes powerful. Probate records can confirm relationships that no death certificate ever will. They can identify married daughters with married names, confirm children you didn't know existed, reveal geographic movement of family members. But there's a catch. Not everyone had a will. So don't stop at wills, look for administration records as well. That's where many genealogists stop too early. Civil death registration wasn't always consistent. But churches? They often recorded deaths long before governments did. Church records may include burial dates, age at death, family relationships, sometimes even cause of death. Now here's something important. Many genealogists assume these records are already indexed online. They're not. A significant portion of church death records are unindexed, poorly transcribed, or buried inside larger parish registers. So if you're relying only on searchable databases, you're missing them. You need to browse images manually in many cases. Yes, it takes time, but that's often where breakthroughs happen. This is one of the most overlooked areas, especially for researchers who assume their ancestor wasn't important enough. That assumption is incorrect. Military records can include death reports, pension files, widow applications, service-related burial records. And here's where it gets interesting. Widow pension applications often include marriage details, children's names, dates and locations that don't appear anywhere else. Even if your ancestor didn't die in service, their death may still be documented in military-related files. Now, this is where things get a bit more complex. Hospital and coroner records are often restricted, not digitized, or held in local archives. But when accessible, they can provide exact cause of death, circumstances surrounding the death, witness statements in coroners' cases. And here's the key point. These records are especially valuable when the death was sudden, the cause is unclear, or the official record is vague or missing. But don't assume these records are easy to access. This is where you need to research local archival systems, not just online databases. Most genealogists search newspapers for obituaries. Very few search for legal notices. This is a missed opportunity. Legal notices may include estate settlements, creditor claims, public announcements of death. These are often published in small print sections, easy to overlook, but incredibly valuable. And sometimes, they appear even when no obituary exists. Let's go beyond gravestones, because gravestones are just the surface. Cemetery records can include plot ownership, burial registers, lists of individuals buried in the same plot, and funeral home records. These can be gold. They may contain next of kin, payment details, which hint at relationships, transportation records revealing where the body came from. But again, these are rarely fully online. You may need to contact local cemeteries, funeral homes, historical societies. And yes, sometimes the records still exist, even for very old cases. This one surprises a lot of people. Tax records can reflect death indirectly. For example, a property owner suddenly disappears from tax rolls. Ownership transfers to heirs. Estate-related tax adjustments appear. This helps you narrow down death dates, confirm residence at time of death, identify heirs indirectly. It's not a direct death record, but it's often a crucial supporting clue. Here's the real issue. Most researchers treat death as a single event. It's not. Death creates a paper trail across multiple systems: legal, religious, financial, social. If you only look in one place, you only see part of the story. And that's how errors enter family trees. This is why you sometimes see wrong parents attached, incorrect spouses, entire families merged incorrectly, because someone stopped at the first record they found. So, here's the takeaway. If you feel like your research has stalled, or something just doesn't add up, there's a good chance you haven't actually finished researching the death. You've just stopped at the most obvious record. The real breakthroughs often come from the records most people ignore. And once you start using these overlooked sources, you'll notice something immediately. Your family tree becomes more accurate, more complete, and far more reliable. If you found this helpful, I'd love to know which of these records you've never used before. And if you want to take this further, I'll be sharing more practical research strategies like this in upcoming videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.